Hey friends, and happy Wednesday. I'm so thrilled to hang out with you this morning, and I updated a freebie for you. So I want to walk you through it. This is called the Client Attraction Map. You may have seen it before, but I've given it an update. You can get it at annafranzen.com/client map if you want to walk through it with me. And I'm going to walk you through step by step how you can create a clear map for your ideal clients to walk through. That way you can really sell and bring in clients in your business in a way that feels really good and heart-centered and not super spammy and salesy. So I titled this video, the number one way to attract ideal clients, and I'm going to tell you the answer right now. It's to have a clear path, to have a clear map that they can walk through. Not that they'll always walk through in that perfect way, but I think having it clearly laid out is the most beautiful, kind, direct way that we can lead our pre-clients in our business and make sales. And a lot of times we think through, oh, after someone's a client, what's the process, right? How do I onboard them? How do I take care of them? But I really want you to be obsessed with how do I take care of my audience? How do I take care of my free people and guide them to working with me if it's the right fit? That is the most kind of service thing you can do, because when they're working with you in a paid capacity, it really is of highest service to them. And if you don't believe that, we either need to do some massive mindset work, or you need to probably change your business, right? Okay, so that was the introduction, but I have a fun announcement for you today too, but I would love to hear if you're watching the replay. Let me know where you're tuning in from. We had a crazy week last week. We had snow. We usually don't, and so a lot of our trees fell down and we lost power for a while, which made me really grateful for this mic. So let me show it to you. This mic, actually, you can plug it into your computer, but you can actually use it without power too, which is really nice, especially because of the fun thing I'm going to tell you next. So if you don't have a mic yet, you may want to think about getting one that you can use without power, because A, it's really fun. You can like bring it around wherever you're at, like to a coffee shop, but also if you don't have power, you can still record. So I recorded for you guys. I'm going to start doing on Fridays sometimes, something I call Q&A Friday, where I take a question from one of you and I answer it, because I find a lot of times when one of you have a question, it is going to resonate with a lot of you. So this Friday dropping is an amazing, amazing woman, Taylor. She's in this community, asked a question around, when someone DMs me or PMs me, what do I do? Do I sell them something? Do I, what is the next step? And I answer that in the Q&A that's going to drop this Friday. So make sure you're on my list so you can get that Q&A. But also having an extension of that conversation is, besides the tips I give her on Friday, is having a clear client map is a part of that too, right? Knowing what the next step is so that we can guide them. Knowing if someone is brand new in my audience and they've never met me before, they don't quite know me yet, it probably doesn't make sense to sell them, right? It probably makes sense to, tell them about my freebie, tell them about a blog post that relates to the question they're asking, right? If you have an entry-level offer, telling them about your like $19 ebook or whatever it is. But having a clear client map, especially if you're at the start or if you're at a shift, or if you've been in business for a while but you're feeling quite stuck, it's a great exercise to ask yourself, okay, what's the flow? A lot of people call this a funnel. I call it a client map, but really knowing step by step, how does someone go from never meeting me before to working with me in a paid capacity? It's a really powerful question. So again, you can download that client map at annafranzen.com/client map. But also my favorite Cliff Notes version of this, you guys, is just to write it out and put little arrows. What are those arrows called where it's like this on your computer? A bracket. Just being able to write, okay, what is my point of traffic, right? How are people coming in? Bracket. What's my freebie? Just name my little freebie. Bracket. What's my community? Where am I gathering people, right? Or if you don't have a community, how is it that you are nurturing people? Is it through your email list? That's a form of community too, right? Bracket. And then your sales strategy, really knowing, how do I convert people from being in my tribe to being a paid client? Bracket. And then your core offer. Honestly, when I do this exercise every few months in my business, just as like a refresh and a focus to make sure where I'm putting my energy is actually into my client map and into wherever is the gap in my client map. I usually will start with the end. I offer client map intensives with clients where we just sit for a few hours and we just work on their client map. And usually we start at the end, right? What is it you're offering? What is it you're selling in your business? So if you are, hey, Melissa, yes, if you're joining me live, say hello. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you've recently shifted your offer, especially, it's important to go through this again, right? Again, using this freebie I have, or simply using the bracket method and just writing out, okay, if this is my offer, right? If this is my high, especially if you have multiple offers, right? This is my highest level offer, right? What is it? And what's that step before? What's my sales strategy? What's my step before that, right? Where am I nurturing people? And I really divide visibility into two categories. So there's the visibility that you have with your current audience, right? That's kind of what I'm doing with you. Hey, Marla, good morning. What I'm doing with you right now, right? Your visibility, your content that you are delivering to people that are really in your community already. And then you have visibility that's traffic. How are you visible in front of people that aren't yet in your community, bringing them into your community, right? So knowing that. Let's see what I was going to say. So by knowing each of these steps, you'll never have to ask the question, what do I tell this person when they are PMing me or DMing me? You'll know, okay, based on where they're at in this map, how to point them to the next step, right? How to tell them, okay, well, since we don't know each other, the best resource for you would be this, my freebie, right? Or since we've been hanging around for a while, and if you're resonating with my work, you may want to check out my paid intensive, right? Or whatever it is that's your entry right before your core offer. Maybe for you, if you just have one core offer, maybe it's a discovery call, right? So inviting them on the discovery call and not feeling like you have to PM or DM with them forever, but really letting them know, hey, I really feel like we'll both get to the bottom of this faster if we hop on a call together, right? So my encouragement for you is, and I know I wrote starting, shifting, or feeling stuck, but I really feel like everyone can benefit from this because it's looking at what is it in my business? How am I currently bringing people through? And if you feel like you have a current path and there aren't any gaps. So the first trick is to fill any gaps, right? If you look at this map after you fill it out for your business and you feel like there's a gap, beep, 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 red warning light, right? It's time to fill in that gap, right? If you don't have a free entry point, create one, create a freebie, right? Really knowing what it is that is your hang up. If you do have all the parts and you're like, oh, yeah, I have all the pieces, asking yourself, where is, I was going to say clog. Is that weird? Really knowing where is the holdup that if you fix this one thing, it could really expedite the flow of how people are flowing through your map, right? Like maybe you have a ton of people, maybe you have a beautiful network, right? But you don't have a lot of clients, right? Then really looking at how do I turn my existing audience into paying clients? Or if you're like, I don't have an existing audience, right? I don't really have anyone that's tuning in and tracking with me. You probably need to look at that external visibility piece, the traffic. How do I just even get people into my circle? Forget about selling them into paying clients. I just need to grow my audience. That needs to be my goal for the next few weeks, right? And the cool thing about this is when you invest in your business or when you get support, you can make sure you're getting support where you actually need it, right? And you're not just, buying whatever is out there, but you're really purchasing support for where you especially need support. Yes, Melissa says bottleneck. Totally. Where is the bottleneck in this client map so that I can welcome people in a more streamlined way, especially as you're looking to expand your business and do more leveraged offers, right? As you're offering groups and courses, you're going to need more humans, right? And for me, it's really important that my humans, before they ever pay me $1, right, have a clear path to working with me. Melissa does great work. I worked with her on some of my onboarding and offboarding process. And so it's almost like looking at that process for people before they even start working with you, right? What's that process? And is it really clear? And for me, that's the leadership piece, right? Am I really leading people, or are they confused, right? Are they ending up in my community and they don't know the next step? Do they know that next step to working with me? One of my friends, Sarah, said one time, like, don't make it a scavenger hunt, right? Like when someone lands on your website, are you making it really hard to work with you? I always share the story in my life coaching business. When I was launching one of my group coaching programs, one of the women in my community said, Anna, I'm so glad that you told me about this, because I didn't even know I could work with you. Like, she was in my free community, right? Or she was in the free thing I was doing, but she didn't know that she could work with me in a paid capacity. And that's a mistake, right? We want to be really clear and upfront, not like in a pushy way, but hey, if you do want to work with me, here's how. Like, really making it simple, making it easy for people to book a call with you. Should probably be in your top bar area of your website, really making it clear, concise, and really welcoming people into your business, so that, even if you're feeling fully booked, so that you can build a wait list, so that you can fill a leveraged or group offer. This is important to know at the start of your business, but I would say it's especially important to know as you are continuing on in your business, right? As you're growing, as you're scaling, as you're leveraging your time, so that you can fill those beautiful group programs. I love this idea of a client map. I'm all about writing the process down. Totally, Melissa, exactly. So it's writing that process down and knowing it. And then really, this is going to sound maybe scary, but really eliminating the projects in your business or the pieces of your business that aren't bringing people along in your funnel. And if you've been in business for a while, you may have some parts of your business. I love how, I can't remember the book. It's one of my favorite books on writing. I'll post it here when I remember it. But she talks about like killing the darlings, right? Like killing, like when we write, when we edit, sometimes we have to, for the good of the greater piece of the article we're writing or the book we're writing, sometimes we have to like delete the parts so that we can have this beautiful article or this beautiful clear book at the end. And I really feel like it's the same way in our business when we've been in it for a while. Sometimes we have to Marie Kondo and part ways with things in our business that aren't streamlined, right? Because otherwise, if we've been in business for a little while, our business can start to feel more complicated, more confusing, more bogged down than when we started, right? And we're like, why was it so easy? Even though it's not easy at the beginning, it is in the way of like you're creating for the first time. There's simplicity, there's clarity. And if you've been in business, you have to fight for that clarity, right? You have to stand up and say, I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to make the sacrifices I need to so that I don't burn out, right? Otherwise, you're going to be too stretched thin. Raise your hand if you've been in business and you've ever felt stretched thin by your own business, right? I definitely have before. And a lot of the way that we simplify, right, is by saying goodbye to things and thank you, right, like as Marie Kondo does, to things in our business that served us, maybe a freebie, but you're not really aligning with my core offer anymore, right? I have an updated offer. And so thank you so much, freebie, for serving me in my business, but I'm just going to leave you in my Google Drive, right? Or whatever it is. You don't have to delete it. But if this is you and you feel like really cloudy in your business, or you're feeling stuck and you're ready for breakthrough, I would suggest downloading this free client map today. Do it today. Take a CEO day in a coffee shop and fill this out afresh, right? As you think about all the beautiful components of your business, it's not that you're saying goodbye to them forever, but it's saying in this season, I want to give my audience the gift of extreme clarity when it comes to working with me. I want to really make it so clear and beautifully simplistic when it comes to becoming my client. I don't want to complicate it. I want to be a strong leader and show them the way. Therefore, I'm going to start with my offer. Again, you download, it's just a one-page map. You can get it at annafranzen.com/client map, and you start with your offer. What are you selling and focusing on selling right now in the next 6 weeks, 90 days? Spoiler alert, it should probably just be one thing that you're selling, right? One main thing that you're selling. What is it? Am I crystal clear? Am I willing to put the other things on pause? And what is the sales strategy I'm using? What is the freebie that's aligned? And every time you hop on live like this, right? Or every time you post on Instagram, right? Or in your Instagram little highlight, is that freebie? I was in everywhere. Like, is it everywhere? Is that point of entry, is it really clear to people? Or are they feeling like, you have like 5 freebies and they're all really awesome, but it can feel overwhelming. And this is the thing. If you feel overwhelmed in your business right now, there's nothing wrong with you, but your audience may feel overwhelmed too, right? So this is not like you're a horrible person but it's just being honest with yourself. I've got to be honest with you and give you some real talk, right? And let you know if you're feeling overwhelmed, whose job is it to make your business less overwhelming? Yes, a coach can help you, but really it's your job, right? And you can say, you know what, I'm just going to embrace the fact that things are overwhelming, but I have the power, I have the capacity to change that, and I will. Right? I don't really know how. Maybe I'm going to hire Anna and do a client map session so we can sit down for 2 hours and plug through this, right? Or maybe I'm going to go to a coffee shop and work on just the freebie she has. But I'm going to shift this. I'm going to change this. I'm going to create clarity in my business so that it can feel simple again, right? So that I can use the assets in my business. So often I see women with existing businesses that are kind of in that stage where they've produced income, but they're not yet hitting their big revenue goals. They're not using their assets, right? They're continually creating new things, but they're not really leaning into what have you already created? And yes, women can be impacted by what you created a few months ago, right? I was just talking to my mastermind ladies about this yesterday. A lot of times when we're further along in entrepreneurship, it can be hard to believe, right? And this can be a big block to passive income. I call it leverage income because it's not passive, it still takes work. But a big block to leverage income is feeling like once we create something, it's no longer valuable in a few weeks, right? Or we've kind of lost excitement around it, so therefore it's lost its impact. No. Think about all the books in Barnes & Noble or on Amazon that you've purchased and been impacted by months and months after the author wrote them, right? I know that some of my favorite books are really old. They're really old, but it doesn't mean that it's less impactful, right? We need to believe the same thing about our work. And until we believe that same thing, there is no way we're going to be able to grow and scale our business, because we need to be able to, and that's different than being disconnected. I love being connected to my audience. I will always answer my emails when someone hits respond to one of my, hey, Alicia, good to see you from Denmark. So amazing. I will always, respond to emails. I love showing up here live in the group. I think that's a little different. Like, you can be in and with your audience, but you can still believe that the work that you create has an impact long after you create it. Raise your hand drop an emoji, if that's something that you need to work on believing, and maybe even creating an affirmation for yourself around, I do fully believe that the work that I create is valuable long after I create it. Okay, that was a tangent. But I don't even remember where I was going with that. Okay, let me know if you guys have any questions. Make sure that you download this client map. And I cannot, again, emphasize the importance of getting clear on this, right? Giving yourself the gift of clarity, giving your audience the gift of clarity, right? And really knowing the path, knowing what it is, the path, how people work with you right now, right? And again, not designing this for like your business 10 years down the road, designing it for your business right now. What is the core offer I have? What is the freebie I have that aligns with it? Where am I gathering people? And if I'm finding a gap, if I'm finding something that can be streamlined, how do I put all my attention towards that and not anything else, right? Not redesigning your website if that's not the time, right? Not adding a new social platform if it's not the time, or maybe it is, right? But it's really going to depend on where you're at. And again, if you're feeling stuck on what it is, right? If you're feeling stuck on any one of these boxes in the client attraction map, like you're like, I am really not feeling good about my core offer. If you're not feeling good about your core offer, all the other pieces are going to be really hard to nail, right? Or if you feel really good about your core offer, but you're feeling like you don't have a solid transition or sales strategy from your community to your core offer, if there's a gap, address the gap first. If there's no gap, ask yourself, what needs the most attention so that I can streamline and just increase this flow? I just think about it like a river, right? When you have kind of like a block in the river, maybe there's a huge log or there's some rocks, right? You need to lift, there's not a problem with clients are flowing around there on the internet, right? There's not a shortage of clients for you, for your business, but you may have a block that you need to remove, right? So that they can continue to flow, knowing what the block is, right? Or as Melissa said, the bottleneck, like knowing what it is and then going after it, really getting support around specifically what that thing in your map is personally. And again, this isn't a one size fits all because that's how online business works, right? There's no perfect cookie cutter model, but for you to know your model and how you attract clients is just powerful and relieving. And again, it will refine your to-do list. Instead of feeling like you're working on 17 projects, you're really going to be working on one project. And that is clearing whatever is the bottleneck. If you want support around this, I do have one space in February for a client attraction map intensive. So basically we sit down together and we nail whatever pieces are missing so that you know exactly what to work on. We can even start working on that together. So if it is your free entry point, figuring out what is the perfect free entry point for that offer, right? And again, this is especially a good fit for women who have been in business for some time, but you're feeling like there's something missing. You're feeling spread thin. You're feeling like your business is lacking simplicity. This is a great way to walk away with literally something you can pin on your wall and know exactly how clients flow through your business, like the Q&A I'm doing for Taylor on Friday, so that you know when someone reaches out to you exactly where to send them, because it's literally going to be on your wall, right? You literally know, okay, well, I've never met this person before, so I should probably tell them about my freebie, right? Or this person's been in my community for a while. It's time to invite them to my entry-level paid offer. Or it's time to invite them to my sales call, right? In a direct and loving way, letting them know about this is the next step. Okay, before you guys go, I would love to know from you, which of these you feel like may be that bottleneck for you, may be the thing that needs focus and attention in this next season of your business. I'm going to read them off, but make sure you go to annafranson.com/client map to get your free copy of the client map, so that you can brainstorm on this today. You can do this online, but I think it's kind of powerful to print, especially if you decide to go to a coffee shop this afternoon and brainstorm. I think there's something powerful about not being distracted by technology, right? Just being able to ask yourself, kind of intuitively, like, what is it? Especially if you don't know what you're selling right now in your business. Asking yourself, I could create something new, but also of all these beautiful things I already have created, of all these assets I've already created in my business, which of them do I want to focus on selling? Dink, check mark. Okay, how do I want to sell it? What strategy do I want to use? Moving backwards that way. Okay, so these are the things that you may walk away from your coffee shop session this afternoon, or if you want to do an intensive with me, these are one of the things that you may decide you need to work on. Your core offer. Raise your hand or write the word offer if you feel like you need to pick what offer you're focusing on selling, or if you need to refresh your offer, rework the marketing around it. If it's your transition or your sales strategy, write sales. If you have a really clear offer, but you don't feel good about getting people on discovery calls, or once you get people signed up for discovery calls, it makes you a little bit nervous, right? Maybe it's like you need to work on your personal template for a discovery call, the questions that you ask, right? On feeling really comfortable about being on a discovery call is going to help you get more discovery calls, right? Because you're not going to want to invite people on them if you're not feeling good about them. Your sales strategy, your community. Do you have one clear place where you want people to gather to get to know you, where you're creating your content for, right? And you're really nurturing them. I think it's okay to be on more than one social platform, but I would really advocate for picking one that's like your place, right? That you're showing up, that you're present on, that you can let people know, hey, this is where I hang out online. And you can really focus on optimizing it. And then whatever you create for that platform, you can repurpose, right? Is it your content? Maybe you have a social home, but you're not creating content for it. You're not showing up, or your content is really not, like I talk about, balancing that authority and authenticity. There's something missing from how you're showing up in your content. Either you are showing up as the expert, but you're not building that like, no trust, or you're showing up really authentically. You're talking about your failures, your wins, but you're not teaching, and you're not showing up as the expert that you actually are. You're not owning that. I know my shiz, right? I know my stuff. Is it free entry point? You can write free entry point. It can be a freebie, but it doesn't have to be. But do you have a way to get people into your intimate circle, right? Likely your email list, right? Social platforms are great, but I always advocate for building your social platform and your list, right? Because your list is your way in to your beautiful community's inbox, right? Into their heart. And I don't know about you, but when I read my emails on my phone, it's a little bit more intimate, and I'm ready to read it in a different way than when I'm scrolling on social. So is it your freebie? Is it, and maybe you're like, Anna, I have multiple freebies, but I kind of need to just pick one freebie to focus on promoting right now. Not that you have to delete the other ones, but the one that you feel like this is the step before someone works with me in a paid capacity, right? This is what someone needs to do or know or experience of me before they're ready to work with me. So that freebie, or is it your traffic and visibility? Is it, I don't have a really big email list, or I don't have a really, and not that you need a big email list or group. Don't hear me say that, because I truly believe that you can have an email list of 50 people, a Facebook group of 100 people, and convert people to paying clients, right? In many ways, it can be easier to convert when it's small, right? Because it's a lot more high touch. But if you're feeling like, no, I do need a bigger group, or I'm working on, I do more leveraged work, like if you want to do a group program or a course, you may need more humans in the door, right? To experience you and be nurtured by you. Therefore, you may need to work on your traffic, right? What am I doing to get visible in other people's audiences, to bring people into my circle? So if you have a hunch, I would love to hear from those. Which Melissa says, community is where I've been struggling. I get a bit all over the place. Totally, which is so easy to do, right? But just knowing that that's your thing, right? Knowing Melissa has a beautiful core offer, actually. So knowing, I know my core offer, so I'm not going to spend any more time on it. Of course, things could always be more perfect, right? But knowing this is the thing that's really holding me back, and how do I put my energy and focus towards that? That's my to-do list, right? Like, yes, the little things in my business, but that's my project right now. And often we'll sabotage ourselves and not focus on the one thing, and we'll focus on, I'm saying it from personal experience, like projects that are otherwise in areas that we're already doing fine on. Like, let's say you have a big audience, you probably don't need to work on growing your audience, but you may find yourself doing projects that are around audience growth. And so again, it's not bad. It's just telling yourself, I talk to myself all the time. Okay, awesome, Anna. You've done this well. Your next step is XYZ. And often I'll say it to myself aloud, right? Just to give yourself clarity and say, this is my next step. What's holding me back from getting that? Is there anything? What support do I need to work on it? I may need support, right? It may not be my strength. Who can I rope in to support me around this? Okay. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me today. This was such a blast. Stay tuned on Friday in your email inbox. You're going to be getting that first Q&A Friday from Taylor, again, all around what to do when someone PM or DMs you. It's really good. It's just a little audio. And so it'll just be in your inbox on Friday. Download this client map if you haven't already. AnnaFranzen.com/client map. I linked it above too. Download that, work on your client map, and if you get stuck, reach out. I would love to support you. And I hope you ladies have just the most beautiful Wednesday.